of them. It's all this stuff that's on the news. I just found my cousin with a gunshot wound.
Okay, sir, is she alive?
No.
Police arrested 6 people in connection with the heinous crime.
The youngest Wagner son, Jake, was in court today. It is his custody dispute over a daughter with victim Hannah Roden that investigators say prompted the murders.
As George Wagner IV stands trial, his mother Angela and younger brother Jake are expected to testify against him.
Hi. Happy Sunday. How is everybody? Good to see so many people here. Hey, Chick. Hey, Mo. Hey, Hash Brown. Hi, Amelia Sparkles. Coolest Reviews. True Psych Ward. Hi, Team Psych Ward. Sam. Tony. Mrs. M. Bethy Cakes. All my favorites are here. Yay. I'm so glad to see everybody. Man, this was a long trial, and it's actually technically not all the way over yet because, all right, so Team Psych Ward, let me just give you a real quick synopsis. On April 22nd, 2016, there was a 911 call made in Pike County, Ohio. And that's what we heard at the beginning. And what it was 8 members of a family were all found shot in their homes. And they all appeared to have been sleeping at the time they were attacked. So it was 4 separate crime scenes. 3 of the homes were on one piece of property. And those homes belonged to Chris Roden Sr. And inside of his home was Gary, his cousin. And then there was Frankie Roden and Hannah Hazel Gilly. And that was the second home. And also found in their homes, unharmed, were their 2 sons. And then the third home was Dana Roden's home. She and Chris Sr. had been married at one time, and inside of her home was Chris Roden Jr., Hannah Mae Roden, and Hannah's newborn daughter, who was also found unharmed. About a mile and a half or so down the road was the 4th crime scene, which was the home of Kenneth Roden, and he was inside by himself. Yes, this is a trial that's been a long time in the making. So between 2016 and the arrests in 2018, the BCI, which is the Ohio State Police, did an extensive and extremely expensive investigation. And when it was all said and done, give me just a second. I got to let Alice out. You guys know she will not be denied. Please hold. Oh, my hub's got her. Okay. Well, it wasn't a family member. It was a whole other family, the Wagner family, Team Psych Ward, who um, Jake Wagner had been in a relationship with Hannah Mae Roden, and they had a child together, a daughter, Sophia, who was not there. She was with the Wagners when this took place. So after this extensive investigation, the police ended up arresting um, Edward Jake Wagner, George Wagner, who is Jake's older brother, Billy Wagner, who is the father of Jake and George, and Angela Wagner, who is married to Billy Wagner and the mother of Jake and George. And they also arrested um, the two grandmothers on both sides, Frederica Wagner, who is Billy Wagner's mother, and they arrested Rita Newcomb, who is Angela Wagner's mother. And basically, Frederica was charged because she had guns in her home. And then Rita was charged because there was a document produced that had Hannah's alleged signature on it. And it was essentially giving custody. Should anything happen to her, it was giving custody of Sophia to Jake. And through their investigation, what the prosecutors found, or what investigators found, was that the document itself had been dated like 2015, I think it was, and but it was actually created in 2016. So they had backdated it, and Rita Newcomb's signature was on it, and so was her notary public. So that's what she got caught up in. But I I think the charges against her for that have been dropped, but I have to go back and look it up because I can't remember. So what I've been covering is the trial of George, because Angela and Jake Wagner both took plea deals and agreed to testify against George, and in this trial, and then later next year in um, Billy Wagner's trial. So what I thought that we would do tonight is sort of go over the parts that we have missed. And there is some audio. There's a lot of actually, there's several pieces of audio that I want to play for you guys, because we missed it. Well, I didn't, some of you guys probably didn't miss it, but I did on the days that I wasn't streaming. But before I do that, I want to make a poll, and I want to see what you guys' opinions are based on what what we've watched up until this point. Because what's basically, oh, that's not what I meant to do. Basically what's happened at where we're at now is that both sides have rested their case in chief. Although, to be more accurate, the prosecution hasn't actually rested their case in chief, but they're not expected to call any more witnesses. So if they do anything, it will be, let's see, it will, it'll be rebuttal. Let me write this, check this. Well, maybe if I could spell correctly, that would be helpful. So I don't know. I think that the prosecution probably will put on a rebuttal case, but I don't know how long it'll be. I don't imagine it will be too terribly long. Hold on, let me change this. And then there'll be closing arguments. All right, so I want to put that in there and see what you guys think. All right, and then we'll come back. We'll come back to that. So, yeah, yes, Bethy Cakes, you're right. They're on break until after the holiday, right? After Thanksgiving. So it'll be not this week, right? Next week. Sorry. My oh boy. It's been a long day. It's been a long weekend. It's cold here and I don't like it at all. High cement shoes. So what I wanted to do tonight is just sort of go over some stuff with you all and see, what you guys think about, the trial and whatnot. And where I wanted to start is with Angela Wagner. Now, we obviously did not get to hear Angela Wagner testify. She opted out. That's what they allow. And so we didn't get to hear her actual testimony. However, BCI interviewed her in 2017 and they recorded it. And what I thought we could do is listen to that, and not the whole thing because it's like 2 hours long, okay? But just like the pertinent moments. And the reason I wanted to do that is because it's interesting to me what all she said in that interview, particularly when she was confronted with the receipts for the shoes. That was particularly damning. Her response was, and now I just have to find it because it's not a long one. Give me just a second. I'm sorry. I was going to have this like already queued up, but sometimes when you have something waiting to play and you play and you go through StreamYard, it gets messed up. So hang on a second. I think this is it right here. She was actually, I will say this, whatever was going on like internally, she kind of did a good job of keeping it on the low because she was actually kind of, which I found to be interesting, friendly and sort of open, which I thought that was like interesting about how her rapport was. Hold on. All right, that's not it. And there's also some really good audio from the intercept wiretaps from 2018 between Jake, Angela, and then like Jake and George. It's kind of like I guess I don't know if I. Here it is. I found it. Hold on. Hold on. I almost got it. All right, here it is right here. We'll just go a little bit ahead of that and listen to the BCI tell them. Thank you, Kiss Chick. Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. I don't know. I'm out of sorts today, you guys. I'm sorry. Please be patient with me, or continue to be patient. I'm sorry. I'm just out of sorts today. I don't know what's going on. I think it's the weather. I don't do good in the cold. I wasn't made for cold. I would never make it in Ohio or anywhere else where there's actual weather. All right, hold on. All right, so here we go. Yeah, so no, babe. So next Monday, not tomorrow, the Monday after the break, right? Or after Thanksgiving, right? That's what you're saying? Because I appreciate you correcting me. I need to give accurate information. I don't know why I didn't consider that they would be having a break over Thanksgiving. Let me see if I can make these go on. There we go. All right, you ready? Here we go. So this is between Angela Wagner and the BCI. And we're just going to listen to like about 15 minutes of it because they're fixing to confront her with the shoes. All right.
And they all got dragged in, you know, and that divides, something like that takes a family and does this. And it did to their family. Okay. Now, the Rodens basically were in all kinds of shit. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. They were growing marijuana. Okay. They were selling marijuana. They were selling cocaine. Okay. Hannah was kind of promiscuous. You know, you can claim she's a teenager and selling her oats, but she's promiscuous. She gets pregnant again, and then she's got another boyfriend aside from her new baby.
And we're not even sure who the
You know
dad
what I
is
mean?
initially.
And so, listen, a culmination.
Oh, thank you, Sam. I appreciate
And then
that,
you have
babe.
grandchildren.
Oh, Lady Warrior, you're
Right,
welcome. No
that are-
problem.
that
I'm
are
glad you corrected me. I
particularly
totally
soapy.
forgot about
They're-
Thanksgiving.
The like a pawn in this
I appreciate it.
crap. You know what I mean? How many times you see custody issues where kids are used as pawns? Right?
Sure.
So I'm trying to wrap my brain around some things. That's one of them that those guys found in that search warrant. Let me back up. I'm not condoning anything that was messed or broken because that's water under the bridge. I apologize for my colleagues.
Hey, Curious Rose, good to see you,
Nobody deserves
babe.
to have their property disrespected.
Well, that's fine.
Okay. So, again, I'm asking you I'm kind of beating around the bush with you, but I think you know where I'm going. Okay? So, I'm asking you,
Do you think that my son did it?
or
my husband?
anybody in your family.
No.
I'm asking you, okay, can you tell me definitively no?
Yes, I can tell you definitively no.
Tell me why.
Flat out no.
Tell me why.
Because
It
one, my
is
son
Lady
knew that.
Warrior.
Like I said, he had nothing against, he had nothing against them. And even though him and Hannah broke up, it wasn't enough for that. And it surely wasn't enough for the rest of them. Him and Frankie talked, they chit-chatted, oh my gosh, they talked about deer hunting and, you know, when they seen each other at the gas station, they would talk. I mean, it wasn't.
You know what I was thinking, just real quick? I think what I should do is do this rather than try to cram the whole like breakdown of the trial. Now that I know I have like a whole week, I should do this every night and break down the trial nightly. And then that way we aren't really missing anything. We aren't missing out on anything really, right? Because there's nothing going on in court, but also because there's so much information, it'll be easier, I think, to digest. What do you guys think? I think that's a good idea. But if you're not down for it and you just want me to go through it in one night, I will.
That kind of a.
What Cement Shoes have to say
it
over
wasn't that
here?
kind of a-
All right, it wasn't a.
Ah,
it wasn't
thank
a-
you,
it
Cement
wasn't a
Shoes.
domestic
No,
beat each
it
other up.
wasn't, no,
Right.
it wasn't. And as far as my husband goes, you couldn't even say a bad word about Chris
In front of him, you would defend
at
him.
all. No, you couldn't.
Mhm.
His dog he has came from Chris, and if you even say a bad word about that dog, you live in hell for weeks. I mean, I'm just, ignorant.
Yes, thank you. I think
That's
that's
fair,
what I'm
and-
going to
and
do,
you're
you
telling-
guys.
And you're telling me how you feel. What about, let me ask you this, going back to, the guys that did the search warrants at your, the Flying W and the, is it Peterson address, right?
The
And-
house.
Yeah, the house.
I like how they're
Well, I know
acting,
when the
how
Flying W
BCI is
was, I've seen it,
acting like
you
they don't
know,
know any of,
actually,
like
I
they're
had a
just
Oscar
have a
shooting.
barely any knowledge of
And
all
I
of
had
this.
one
Like
while
they've
this
been
stuff happened. And I remember
investigating
actually
this
several
crime for
first-
over a year at this
I remember
point.
driving by that one day,
Okay.
you know, but I'm asking you, the guys talked about. and
Hey,
the
Mrs.
people
M,
that
good
were
to
on
see you,
search warrant
babe.
Talked about, all the booze that,
Here it
Billy
comes.
owns and stuff that was left there at the Flying W. I mean, they were all like, a lot of like nice stuff, you know?
Okay.
So when you shopped, would you buy their paint?
No, I don't,
and shit?
no. You wanna see receipts for that stuff?
No, I'm not saying anything's stolen.
No, nothing like that. No, I'm saying, you wanna know?
No, I'm asking you, would you buy like their clothes on their back?
No, I don't buy my husband's, no.
How about Jake or Jordan's? I'm not talking when they were 10 and 12.
Okay, if I'm at Walmart and I see Jake wears a particular pair of pants,
Okay.
if I see some, I'll buy them for him. The last bunch he got, his grandmother bought for him.
And how long ago was that?
Well, let's see, it was, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, because she gave me money to go to Walmart to buy the kids a bunch of stuff, and I spent like $500 there buying stuff like socks and stuff was $1 a pack, you know, so they had winter clearance. And then at the same time, she felt bad, because, you know, she's got this thing where if she buys for one, she has to buy for everybody, so it's in a way. So she bought, my husband a whole bunch of stuff, and then she ordered George a bunch of pairs of jeans, and then.
But when I'm talking about what you do though. So when you'll buy stuff for them.
Yeah,
You
he's
buy
like, I ain't
shirts
trying to
and
hear about me,
pants
Ma. Let me hear about
And you know
you.
their sizes, right? And
Yeah,
stuff like that. Would you buy socks, shoes, and all that stuff?
no, I don't buy shoes,
Never buy shoes?
No.
Okay.
because,
Sneakers?
no,
Okay.
because I don't buy shoes for them because of the fact that they're,
Particular.
I know what size they wear, but sometimes things fit differently.
Okay. So you'll buy underwear, socks,
Yeah.
and you won't buy the stuff they're particular about,
No.
right? Like, I don't like, my wife buying certain things for me, but if she wants to buy socks, I really don't care.
Oh, aren't you a
I'm gonna
nice
ask
guy? You'll let her buy
This
you
is another
socks.
thing I want to discuss with you, and I want your candid response and your opinion on it, okay?
Okay, nobody is testifying right now. Cement Shoes. What's happening right now is I'm playing audio from the I think this was 2017. Yes, 2017 interview between Angela Wagner and the BCI, because this is the closest thing, hey, Sky Flashed, I could get to her testimony because she opted out. So this gives me I thought maybe we could listen to this and give us some idea. Oh, there's more. I'm going to play way more, but this is just what she decided to tell the BCI. And they're about to drop the hammer.
Another issue we have, I want the print, not that.
Sorry, there's lots of stuff in here.
I know there's.
Yes, she opted out.
Okay.
This is the closest thing I could come to it.
Now, these right here are a crime scene. I don't want to show you, these aren't too bad, but I'm not going to show you some pictures. But these are foot impressions made in blood, okay, by the killers. We know they're not the police, we know they're not the fire department, the medics, and we know that they're not Chris or any of those, okay? And that's, so what we have at Crime Labs, being that we're the state of Ohio, and I think we have the best crime lab in the country, is they have a database like we do fingerprints, okay? And what we can do is we can take any shoe tread in the world, manufacturer, and identify the manufacturer and the size, okay? So.
Well, you had some help, but okay.
Like 3 weeks before the murder,
I agree, cement shoes. I absolutely agree.
I'll just give you everything so you can
yeah,
do it.
sure. I hate to ask you something like that.
No, that's all right. I just haven't really had a chance to look through all these yet.
Do those ring a bell to you?
I don't know.
You don't ever remember buying those for any reason, or ever seeing those? It's a little familiar to you in any way?
I know.
No?
I mean, I've seen Lily's dad have some of them.
Really?
Yeah. They kind of look like old man type
I think
shoes.
they look like, you know, they almost remind me of those shoes that you wear like as a boot to a, okay. Now, during our search, when I say our, I represent BCI, okay, we have a receipt for those shoes purchased by you.
Okay, well, I did purchase them.
Mhm.
He would make a good roast. I forgot about that. We need to be better about,
Is that
yes,
your excursion?
here it comes.
Okay, those are purchased
7th of April.
7th of April, which is, you know, maybe a little, right around 2 weeks before the murders. Do you know who those shoes were for, Angela? You bought 2 pairs of them.
Exactly.
I don't know. Are you telling me those are the shoes that was used in the murder?
Yep.
That's exactly what I'm telling
Somebody
you.
wearing those shoes stepped in the blood of either Chris or Gary or whomever and left the shoe impression, the tread impression. We matched it with our lab database. So we know it came from those particular shoes that you bought less than 2.5 weeks prior to the murders.
I do not think that they could be those.
They are.
They're
Our lab matched them.
They're an identical match.
Identical size to what the shoe tread was at the crime scene to the size shoe that you bought at Walmart.
We're just trying to figure it out.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I got them, but I don't.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. Everything's
They are
fine.
men's shoes, so they wouldn't wear them, but they wouldn't have used them on those because I threw them away.
But what
So
away?
you remember buying them?
Yeah, I mean, I do, but because I remember they wanted some shoes,
You threw them away.
but they're, you know, an old man's shoe, and they wouldn't wear them, but I don't know how they could be the exact ones.
Why would you buy them if you don't think they would wear them?
Yeah,
No,
why
no,
would
I
that
said they
happen?
wouldn't afterwards.
Okay.
Afterwards,
After
what?
what?
They saw them.
after they saw them.
you know, old man
So
shit.
you did look at them and say, you know, wait.
Half all their things.
So you do remember buying them and you do remember throwing them away?
Yeah,
So when did you throw them away? Like the day you brought them home?
well, let's see, I don't know the exact day that I took them away. That I don't know.
Angela,
Do you understand why this is, we have to ask you out?
you
Well, I
understand why this is
understand
important?
that, yeah, of course I understand
So look
that.
where we're at now, and I got a couple other things I want to go over with you and get your opinion on. Okay, right now we have that printed out life, or not life insurance, but the printed out custody if in the event of Hannah's death, that was printed out 3 weeks before her death, that was signed back in December 2014, okay? We have.
Oh, she's
Okay,
getting the
2
1-2
weeks
buckle my
before
shoe combo.
the homicide, you purchased 2 pairs of
First,
shoes.
they busted out with the
It's
shoes.
identically matched, bloody footprints.
Now they're busting out with the
Okay.
documents.
Now, when you put a fingerprint somewhere, if like I've been to Jenny's house, her and her husband, okay? And if they found my fingerprints on your coffee table, okay, that would be explainable. Yeah, Rick's been here before, you know what I mean? If there's a bloody print and she's dead, there's no getting around that.
Yeah, it's problematic. You're right,
Okay.
BCI
So we're
agent.
just trying to explain this, okay? Okay, so you know they did a search warrant on the house that you sold. You know that, right?
Right. No,
This is a
yes, they
photograph
would have just
of a
returned
lab
them or
analysis
shit, thrown the receipt away.
of casings that were recovered.
Why'd
from
she
the
save the
driveway,
receipt?
Okay?
For tax
Now, listen,
purposes?
Chris.
Was she going to claim them if they burned down another home?
That's a lab report from the shoe confirming the match to the tread. There's the database they pulled up with the shoe tread to verify the match. And then here's a lab report from the casings that we found in your
Okay,
driveway.
this is a lab report from the casings in the driveway. They're an
Oh, she got that
identical match.
two-piece combo, y'all.
The casings.
The casings.
Yes,
of a
the
gun.
casings,
Fire-
you know, from
you
firearms.
fire guns. When you fire a gun, it ejects a casing on the gun.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
There were casings recovered from several of the crime scenes. Okay?
Yes, exactly,
calibers.
Keschick.
Okay? These identically match. They both came from the shell casings in your driveway. Okay? The
I'm
22
listening to you,
the 22
yeah.
shell casings were
Mhm.
from the same gun that killed.
There's no way.
Oh, no
Angela,
way.
that's the identical match.
Absolutely.
There's no way that they were, there's no way.
Angela, there's the report.
Okay, I'm telling you, there is no way.
We have everyone in our ballistics lab, every expert, every firearm experts review and confirm. It is an identical match.
You know, I mean, you know, that.
As long as I hold it out here. I
Okay,
can
that's
see
fine.
it.
Do you want
I'm just gonna help
Do you want your glasses?
Yes, please. Because there is no way, what did they even use? They didn't say what they used.
Oh, we know what they.
We know what we bought with the autopsy.
And of course you do. You're telling me it's a 22.
One of them.
But I told you we own 22s.
Right.
Right.
We know that.
There are several different ones.
I
I
know.
understand that.
This is a specific type of 22 round,
Isn't it
a
though, Lady
specific type of
Warrior?
22 caliber gun that was used to kill some of the
Angela.
victims. You can
Okay,
read the bottom.
okay, we're done, sorry, I thought you were done. Angela, casings are a definitive match on a blueprint.
And I understand what you're saying on that. I do.
It's a blueprint. When I fire my weapon, my issued gun, and it ejects a round, okay?
Yes.
And then I use it somewhere else, that's an identical match. There's no maybe, possibly, could be the same gun, or yeah, it was, just because there were 22 casings in your driveway and there were 22 casings at the crime scene, doesn't mean you know, oh, okay, then we have 22 rounds here, we have 22 rounds there.
You do know we're not the only ones that shot guns at our house, right? There's
Oh,
several people
sweet
down- Over the time span we've been there, there's been several people down there.
Such as?
Such as, let's see, let me guess. There's been, Frankie's been down there. Oh my God, there's been several other people. The people that hunt on us have been down there. There's just been, I don't know, there's been several
Okay,
people.
Angela, I understand what you're saying, okay? Look through my eyes.
I'm looking through your eyes, okay?
Okay.
I see what
You're far, far from stupid.
No, I'm not
Okay.
stupid, but I don't see how there could be a match down there.
There is a match
To multiple,
to multiple.
22 cases we found on the property.
Okay, I'm not making this stuff up.
Hey,
That's
Mark,
just one
good to
last
see
one.
ya.
There's still other ones pending. But they've been confirmed.
We have other tests that are waiting, that we have not back yet based on the search warrants. On other things that we're waiting for. Okay, let me just outline this here, and I'm asking you, that's why I'm asking you, could this have been done without, number one, your knowledge? Okay, and if you
Spoiler
did know
alert,
about it,
nothing
did
is
you know
done
about it
without
after the fact?
Angela's knowledge.
No, I did not
Ever.
know about it.
Okay, this is why I'm trying to salvage some semblance of your grandchildren. Okay, I don't want to leave them with nobody, or for them to go back to some
Thank you,
road
coolest
that's less
reviews.
than
Hey,
they'll do.
Anita, good to see you, babe.
Yeah, or a family. I don't want that, trust me, but I want the truth from you. Okay, did something happen and then you're like, what the fuck?
No, I'm not, I'm aware of nothing that
Okay,
happened like.
but you say you told me 10 minutes ago, you're definitively sure.
I am
You're
not.
definitive.
Yes, I
There's too much mounting.
Definitive after all this.
Even after all that, we have casings that we used at the, we have the same gun that was used at the crime scene that was shot at your house. We have shoes.
Do you have the gun?
No.
Not
We
yet.
have shoes that were used, okay, that you purchased 2 weeks before the
Yes,
murder.
I purchased them, but I'm telling you, they didn't like them. They wouldn't wear them. You know, they wanted a pair of shoes. They always wear boots. Whoop-de-doo, I bought them and they didn't like them. I don't know about that.
Okay.
But that right there, the guns we
Who's
have.
in the car? Did you go with the kids? I mean,
Yes,
you look alone in that
Lady
picture.
Warrior, give me just a
When you
second.
went
As
to
soon as this
Walmart to
stops
buy that stuff
playing,
back
I'm
in
going to
April
address that.
2016. Okay, you're alone. You're alone.
But I don't know that you're alone getting back in the car.
You're not.
No, I was not alone.
Where you live?
Yeah, who are you with?
I know the kids were sleeping. I
Where?
think. Well, they would have been in the car. I didn't leave with you, but I think we were all in the car. I can't remember that one.
Yeah, Lady Warrior.
I guess the bottom line is, we have all this. You can understand how this appears.
Yes, I see that you have.
And this is if you're gonna have any chance to talk with us about what happened, what knowledge you have, it's now.
Yes.
Well, listen, I want to make something perfectly clear with you, Angela. I'm not against you at all, okay? I am more concerned about them than I am anybody. When I mean them, I mean those grandchildren, okay? So I need to know what you know. And I honestly, I'm going to tell
Wait a
you right
minute.
now, Angela, I'm going to be completely frank with you. You and I have had a good rapport this entire, I don't know what your rapport was like with the other folks. You and I have a decent rapport, so I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't lied to you yet, okay? But I don't believe everything you're telling me when we're getting down to this. I believe everything before that, okay? But I don't believe this.
Hey, Nonstop Mom, good to see you, babe.
You
Support
need
with
to know
stuff
the truth.
hey.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I do not know.
You're not?
anything that happened before they get together. I don't know the arguments they got into. I don't know any fights.
Angela,
As far as my husband goes, as far as I do not think there was any at all.
Angela, when we talked to you about the shoes, you told us you never bought shoes for them.
No, I don't
And
know.
then you,
But
and then,
yeah, but then you remember things.
and then you, I get that, and then we show you these obscure shoes that were bought. And you said, when I brought them home, they didn't like them, so I tossed it out. They're in the car waiting for you, we could tell. On
Okay.
the actual video, you can tell.
Oh,
Okay, so you bring them out there, and did they tell you there that they didn't like them? I mean, you arbitrarily bought some shoes that, quite frankly, I think are the ugliest shoes in the world.
okay.
And
That's
you
a
think
little
they're
too
gonna-
far.
you think they're
They're
gonna
not
like them?
Crocs.
And then
Just kidding.
Then you remember throwing them away.
Okay, but let me tell you something. When I get in the car, it's not like a normal get in the car. Oh, hey, look, it's not. It's always.
Did you show your bags?
Most of the time. If things are hectic, it doesn't always work the way it's supposed to work.
What does that have to do with
Angela,
shit?
you're not being 100%.
I know.
I can tell by the way you're talking.
Okay.
Well,
I'm gonna stop. I'm just gonna stop.
well, I don't want to make you mad.
No, I'm just gonna stop right here and I can get an attorney. That's what I'm gonna do. Because no, I'm just not gonna say no more.
Angela, I don't want to make you mad. Okay?
Not making me mad. But
Am I being disrespectful to you? Just answer it right away.
I don't think that you are.
Okay, well, I appreciate that.
And I know what you're thinking, and I know what you're getting at, and I'm just gonna talk to an attorney, and I'll let an attorney talk to you.
Okay.
That's
Well,
what I'm gonna do.
I can't go on.
That's your right.
You're right.
I just don't want you to miss an opportunity because you might not get this opportunity again to talk to us.
She's going to get the opportunity again.
And I don't know
Spoiler
what's gonna
alert.
happen with the lab
'Cause
results,
she's
and
going to take a plea
I
and then
don't
she's
know
going to rat out her
things are
older
gonna
son
happen
and her
arrests are gonna be
husband.
made, and I don't know what's gonna happen to kids from that point.
Yeah, that's why we're
So-
here. That's why we're talking to you.
Once people are in jail, then the kids go into foster care. They go into someone else's care.
What are they doing in that room right now? Moving furniture? What is happening?
Let's talk to Border Patrol. We're not the ones that are here. Yep.
All right, I can't listen to this anymore. There's nothing else. It's just a bunch of, you're going to have to talk to Border Patrol, and I don't know what the hell they're doing with that, whatever they're recording with, because it sounds like they're over there feng shuiing the interview room. It's just, it's obnoxiously loud. Now, the next thing that I'm going to play for you guys, this is going to be the audio. It is the 2018 wiretaps. Okay. Now, the reason this audio is interesting and important is because, and it's, I have to say this. It's more telling of the relationship that exists between George, Jake, and Angela. Both, like all three, like a mother and her sons, there's that relationship. All right. Then there's the relationship between Angela and Jake. And then there is the relationship between Angela and George. And then there is the relationship between George and Jake. And the reason why I want us to hear this is because it's actually really interesting and good audio, and also the closed captions work. You have, coolest. You really have. I can't handle bad audio. I hear it now and it's just like, anyway. So if you want to hear good audio, go over to Coolest Reviews channel, because he does videos and he narrates them, and he's got like the best radio voice ever. So I want you guys to hear this, because further illustrates their dynamic. But as I was listening to it, I was also remembering that the things that George had testified to and his explanations for some of this. And I have to tell you, well, I'll just say, let's listen to it and then we'll talk about it after the fact. All right. Oh, well, we're not going to be doing anything if I don't remember how to share screen correctly. Haha. Oh. I'm telling you guys, all day today, I've been completely out of sorts. It's like, let me tell you what the temperature is. Well, it doesn't tell. Well, tomorrow's going to be 73. So what's 19? What's 73 minus 19? Because that's whatever it was today. Too cold is what it was for Florida. Now, I understand that some of y'all reside in Penguin Land, and that's cool, but Florida is not Penguin Land. And we being me, I don't function well in these types of situations. All right, so hold on. Let me get it all the way to the back. We're not going to watch all of it, but give me just a second. Because it's right after this.
I understand what you're arguing, but I think that's a rant. That's what I'm not going to reconsider that.
Basically outlays the devices that the interception warrants were obtained for, the dates of the original orders, and
All right.
an extension was granted by the court for an additional 30 days. That date is on there as well. The trucks were granted 2 extensions, and then the phones were just slightly off with the dates of that. So on the far left side, you'll see the vanity name. The
Yes,
truck devices were
bowling
named
with
CS,
cotton balls.
and
I'm going to
then
do it
letter.
every night.
So A, B, C, and D. And then E, eventually
Hey, Jody,
one
it's
was
cool.
replaced due to audio issues. And so
Yeah, you guys are in
that one
Penguin
has a
Land.
later
It's
date
not
because that was
Penguin
a
Land in
replacement
Florida.
device.
We
But
don't
there were 4
do the
devices in the
colds.
truck. On the transcript,
Why is she speaking so quickly? Did I speed
the
her up?
name
This might be
TSA
from,
or
oh no.
TSB, C, etc. will be listed on there, as well as the placement of the devices. So I believe the A1 was in the front passenger. There was one in the sleeper compartment of the truck, and so those would be designated on the transcript about the location
Listen,
of those in the truck itself.
I love penguins.
And then going
I
down to the
do.
bottom,
But I don't want to live where they live. Like I will go visit and I see them on the TV and I watched March of the Penguins and all of that. But I'm trying to live where they live. It's cold where they live. No, thank you.
phones, they were TT2 through
Oh, it's
9,
53
and those
degrees
were
right now.
designated here,
53
phone
in
number
Florida.
corresponding to the user of that phone.
Okay. And so what was the starting date of both the truck and
All right,
the
so
initial
they
phone?
bugged the truck and they bugged the phones.
The back room.
Oh, this is that weird, awkward conversation with with Beth Ann. Hold on.
Again.
I said that Mom had said
Okay, I'll be right back.
that she wanted to
I'll be in
know
chat though.
if I could still what she said and just drop it after that. Because apparently Sophia told her that you did, think you did, think you did. Give me back and forth. Something like that or whatnot. I don't know exactly what she did. She's just extremely worried.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Are you okay? Nope. What? It's okay. No, it's really not. What? It's not really sustainable to live with this kind of suspicion. What was that? I said it's not really sustainable to live under this kind of suspicion. No, not exactly. Neither do I. All I know is Paul said that she was going to leave it all up to me, and what happens, whether anything happens or not, is all on me. So, I don't know exactly what that is. Are you still there? I'm still here. What's wrong? It's just really, really difficult to live with someone who thinks that I'm worse than a murderer. And who is so willing to believe it. Someone who's like jumping to believe that I'm worse than a murderer. All relationships are built by trust and destroyed by distrust. And this kind of distrust is it's eating away on my soul. I'm sorry. I don't know. Man, I know why she is like that. She was like that before. And it would be judgmental. I don't know. It's probably Cabby's fault. Oh yeah, actually, but both their fault. I'm sorry.
I know you are. Kind of makes me want to just not exist, so.
Okay. Doesn't matter what my mom thinks I do, doesn't matter what my
Okay, let me just simplify this because this is very awkward because there's like a little bit of talk and then there's these long, really uncomfortable pauses. Basically, what this conversation between Jake and Beth Ann really illustrates is Beth Ann had had enough of one Angela Wagner. Okay. Angela had accused Beth Ann of being inappropriate with Sophia. And we're going to hear her we're going to hear Angela talk about this with Jake, which I think will give you a much better perspective of what's going on in their interpersonal relationship than this particular audio. But I understand why the state played it because they needed to lay the foundation for the other, so that people would understand the audio that's going to be played next. But thank goodness you guys have me. I've already suffered through this, and this way y'all don't have to hear it.
Because the whole time you're going and
The last thing I'm ever going to tell you. Put it away, not cause problems.
Hold on. All right. Now, this audio is the audio we need to hear. Okay. This audio is going to be a phone call between Jake and Angela. And they're going to discuss Beth Ann. And this will be the first of a couple of phone calls that go like this. Yes. Yes, we are on the same page. Okay, so let me just say this. When I listened, I'm a huge fan. I like Ann Jeanette Levy. I like the way she has covered this case. I like the way she breaks it down. Plus, she was in the courtroom on the days when Jake and Angela were testifying. And one of the things that she talked about was when Angela Wagner was brought into the courtroom to testify, she didn't even turn her head in the direction of George. But more than that, when she got up on the stand, she positioned herself in such a way that she wasn't even looking at George. Okay. And I have to say, my initial impression before I heard this audio, was that George was the odd one out. That was my initial impression, but I don't want to say too much more than that because I don't want to be a spoiler. So we're just going to listen. Okay. And I'll pause for commentary every so often. Okay. Here we go. I will say this is going to be kind of rough. So trigger warning, Oh, and they wanted.
And can you tell us what the significance of June 7th of
They wanted to play Jake's interview with BCI from 2017, and the judge did not allow it. I'm not exact. I guess he felt like Jake's testimony was enough, And so he didn't allow it, but here we go.
2018 was?
There were a number of conversations that referenced June 7th, 2018. It was in reference to what was deemed a 1-year mark of abandonment by Tabitha in reference to Bullvine. So there were many references to June 7th specifically in terms of abandonment.
And the reason why they're discussing this is because part of what some of the conversations that take place in these next audio clips are this Tabby had served George with custody papers. She wanted to take him back to court, and she wanted to have a different setup with the visitation and custody, quite frankly, of their son, Bullvine. Okay. But what George was doing is purposefully, intentionally not keeping contact. He did not let Tabitha know that he was back in Ohio, because when he goes back into court, right, and he didn't make it to the custody hearing because they got arrested before the custody hearing, but when his plan was to say essentially that Tabby abandoned Bullvine, and the only way he could make that work was if there was no contact between himself and Tabby. Now, he couldn't reach out to her, but I mean, if she had reached out to him, it would have been different, because obviously then that would have shown that she was an attempt on her part, right? So that's why he was trying to maintain a low profile and not let her know that he was back in Ohio, because he did not want Tabby getting Bullvine at all. And I frankly think it was less about what happened to Tabby when she was a child, between her, what she was the victim of, and her stepfather being the perpetrator. And George says that her mother aided in it with, against Tabby.
If you could.
I don't think it was really about that for George. I think it was about control.
This is call 626 on this particular line. It was on May 31st, 2018 at 12:10. It was an outgoing call from Jake Wagner to Angela Wagner, and the context notes say Jake and Angela Wagner talk about relationships with the kids and Beth.
And yes, Lady Warrior, she did. Absolutely, 100%. I have a completely different perspective now listening to this today. I don't know why I didn't catch it before, and I feel kind of like a chump for missing this. But yeah. Well, play it already, hell. I hesitate to skip because I usually overskip, and then we have to go back. Hey, Corky.
Playing now, State's Exhibit.
Yeah, thank you. So far, we are listening to audio between, you've missed Angela's BCI interview. I played a little bit of that. But right now, we're about to listen to the 2018 intercept, the wiretaps. And this is a call from Jake to Angela.
Quadruple I-5A.
Are you there? Yes, I'm here. No, all right. I told her one time in Alaska that she was a grandmother, Mama was a grandmother, Lady was a grandmother, and Grandma Geneva was a grandmother, and Gary Poland and Granny Wagner was a grandmother. She never said nothing about it.
No, she said you told her this just the other day. Whenever you had her make Beth go to town with you guys.
No,
That's
no,
okay,
Lady
though,
Warrior, you
because
keep
you know
chatting,
what?
babe.
It
You're
has caused
doing
so
just
many
fine.
things that are going on now. I don't know how I'm going to fix this problem.
Hey, Layla, you told me that I should tell Sophie.
No, I said, Jacob, if you chose not to put Sophie first and not to believe Sophie, and that you had to have that other part of life, then you would just have to tell her that. That would be your only option. That's
not
what I
what
told
she
you.
said. That is not
Yes,
what
it
she
is.
said. Hey, now, she said that if I felt God was telling me that it didn't happen, that's the truth what it was, I should follow my heart and what God was telling me. Now you're telling me that she told me not to trust, that I either don't trust Sophie or kick my wife to the curb. That's what you're saying you said?
No, Jake. Look, you know what? I don't care what you do with your life. I don't. But from here on out, when it messes with mine or it messes
No,
with
I'm not
mine,
messing with boys or
please
or whatever.
do not cause problems.
I'm not trying to.
Oh, and the other thing is, the next time that your wife thinks she's going to cause problems whenever I'm trying to get Sophie and Bullvine to calm down for a little bit, and you call me and then I'm like, are you putting the kids to bed? Let me tell you something. When I'm ready to tell you that Sophie's ready to talk to you on the phone and I'm really putting them to bed, I'll call you. Because I've never not done anything like that so you could tell Sophie unless she just fell asleep and I didn't know it.
What are
So
you
I don't
talking
need
about?
I don't need some, how'd you know I put them to bed last night, Jake?
Dad told me. Because I told her
That's
to.
right.
Because I told her to.
Well, let me tell you something.
I said, make sure, I told her, make sure you call her before you go to bed. She said, okay, hung up, okay? And I called Beth. I said, make sure that Sophie calls me before she goes to bed.
Well, guess what? Beth was hiding in her little bedroom closet in their corner wherever she hides all day long and sits all day long. So let me tell you something. I don't like snoopers. I don't like people who do stuff behind my
That's
back.
not called snooping, Mom. That's called, I asked her to make sure when Sophie starts to go to bed, she's going to bed, so that she would call me so I could tell her good night.
Don't you think she should have come to me and said, hey, are you putting them to bed?
Okay. She
No,
said,
I reckon she shouldn't. So, you know what?
One thing she said was that you put the kids in the room and you just forget when she put them to bed, so I think she put them to bed. She done exactly what I told her to do.
Whatever. Well, I'm going to tell you what's wrong, Jacob. Because I am sick and tired of you making an excuse for every single thing that person does when you act like you're so blind you cannot see the light right in front of you.
She's doing exactly what I told her to do.
Of course she is, Jake. And it's a misunderstanding on my part, right? Right?
Yeah. Okay, Mom, you know what?
Tell me that, Jake. Say it to me.
What?
I dare you to tell me it's a misunderstanding on my part.
On what?
Well, I don't know. That seems to be every time I can prove to you that she's lying, you always scream it, it's a misunderstanding, or I didn't know, or I'm from Texas.
Mom, no, you have not.
Hold up. I'm going to stop you right there, Angela. I'm from Texas. And speaking as a Texan, we don't appreciate that. We don't blame shit of not knowing something on being from Texas. Okay? That's not how Texas rolls, ma'am.
And everything you said she was lying about, I agree with you, but it wasn't the same. Not by saying, oh, this is a lot of things, I didn't work to them out. No, I asked her exactly what you said about that deer antler, and she told me exactly what you said and what you did. And you said, that.
Oh, no, Jacob, no.
Way. That's exactly what
I did not say put it away. No. I said put it up.
You stood right there, and you said it.
Jacob, I didn't say put away. I said put it up over there for her, upside down.
Or something like that.
Something like that. There's a big difference, Jake. Whenever I tell her to put it over to the side, or where Sophie can see it like bullseye upside down, and she puts it up in the top of the closet where Sophie can't even get it. There's a big difference in that.
Yeah, but that is a misunderstanding. She thought you said you put it up so they couldn't get hurt on it.
How many misunderstandings is there going to be, Jacob?
There could be a few, Mom, because she and I don't even have the same language, language barrier.
Let me say, that has nothing. All right, let me say this. I'm just going to say this one last thing and then I'm going to be quiet. The misunderstandings are not occurring because of Texas or her being from Texas or having lived in Texas. It ain't Texas's fault. The misunderstandings are occurring because this family is dysfunctional as fuck.
For no reason at all, she wanted to give me a life sentence, right? That's a misunderstanding too.
Oh my gosh, Mom. I love you to death, Mom.
I told you.
It
I
was,
told you, Jake, I would
Lady
not hurt
Warrior.
her.
It
I told
was.
you that.
You are on, I said, Mom, you need your medicine. You'll be a little more mellower. And what medicine, Jake? What medicine do I need? Your hormone medicine. My hormone medicine, that's not due yet, Jacob. Well, which one is like $500, Mom? That's my fibromyalgia medicine, Jake, that I barely ever take. Well, I don't know what is wrong with you, Mom. I really don't. But there is something wrong with you. Under the kitchen sink, Sophie. What is wrong with me, Jake, is I'm just telling you how it is. I'm telling you what's going on, and you're not.
It made me laugh, and the attorneys laughed too. They chuckled at it. There's a couple parts in here where they laugh.
Looks at me and tells me she believes Beth over me.
Mom, she's 4 years old. She has no idea what's
4 years old. She's repeating what you told her.
I never told her that.
Yes, you did, Jacob.
No, I didn't.
Okay, his voice went like to 3 octaves below what the only dogs can hear. And I'll say this right now. He's lying. He did tell Sophia something like that. He did. Because when he said, "No, I did not." Okay, that's lies.
And I'll never put anyone else in front of her.
Mom, you are.
So you know what? Because you know what? I know you did, Jake. I know you did.
No, you don't, because I didn't say that.
Well, then let me ask you this, Jacob. You remember that one day you said not to bring that up? This is the last thing I'm ever going to tell you. Remember that one time when you told me it was horrible? I thought about it day and day. How it was so horrible to have somebody constantly rag you and say bad things about you and insult you, and you said Hannah done that to you. And I thought about that all the time. How could she, you went through that, and I didn't know it, and I felt so bad because you're my son. Well, you know what your wife does? She insults you constantly when you're not around. All she ever does is say bad stuff about you. So you tell me how your life is so different.
Okay, let me ask you, Mom. She says, I'm La La Land and don't pay attention. That's not bad. That's the truth.
Oh, and that you're naive and you're dumb and you're stupid.
Okay, I haven't heard her ever tell me that I was dumb or not.
But I tried, Jacob. And you know what? You would, I'm sorry. And you don't know how to be a father to Sophie, or George doesn't know how to be a father to Bullvine.
There's some trauma there, Lady Warrior, for sure. Absolutely. Something ain't quite right.
You don't believe the thing I say anymore. So you know what, Jake? I can't help anymore. And now you want Sophie. Where Sophie don't listen to anything I say. So I can't even help her when something really happens to her and you don't listen. So she has no one.
Mom, I love you. I really do. You have a mental breakdown. I'm serious. You have a mental breakdown because we're finished here. That I'm going to move out and
excuse me?
Mom, I love you.
Hey, Dick, let me tell you something. You want to move out? That's fine. And you take Sophie. I can't stop you. But I'm going to tell you something. If you take her and move her in instead, I'll never get an ounce of rest. Because I know Sophie will be in danger.
She's not in danger.
Yes,
you can't say, I know she's in danger, Mom. You're paranoid.
I agree, Lady Warrior, 100%.
No, Dick, I know she is.
No, you do not know she is.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. Knowing something is stone cold proof, Mom. Okay, like saying, okay, I saw the stop.
Jacob, when you convince a 4-year-old that it was their fault that you sat on them and was jerking their hair with a hairbrush, and you convince a 4-year-old that, you are an evil person.
I'm sorry, Kez. Yikes, babe.
You know what? I'll talk to Sophie again when I get home.
Hi, Alice.
I verified the things, but no, I did not tell her that.
Okay, well, you know what, Jacob? I'm never saying another word. Whatever she feels, whatever she believes, I'm never saying another word because she's just getting more upset. And I'm not doing it to her. So don't do it on my account. But if you love her, you need to think about things and stop thinking about yourself. And stop thinking about myself. Stop thinking, Jacob, stop thinking that everything's okay because somebody tells you something. It's not okay just because someone tells you something. People are not trustworthy. You should know that.
Oh, that's nice, Mom. But this is your problem, Mom. It's your problem. If it's not one of the four of us, then it is not trustworthy. There are trustworthy.
Not when they do inconceivable things, Jacob. Not when somebody does inconceivable things like that has been done up front, immediately, no.
Mom, I love you. You know what?
Well, I'm glad you picked up on it, Lady Warrior. Absolutely.
I don't really know exactly what she thought. I'm assuming she thought that was a way of getting her to stop doing that. And you know what? It was wrong. She ain't gonna do it again. It's really plain and simple.
Yeah, she ain't never gonna do it again. Yeah. Let me tell you something,
Right.
Jacob.
Yes, Lady Warrior.
When you put Sophie with her and I'm not around, and there's no one around to see it, she's already gotten away with getting Sophie to believe that the first time was her fault. And the way Beth was raised and the mental issues she has with her family, it'll happen again, and it'll happen again. No. And you'll never know until it's too late, because Sophie won't tell you, because she'll be afraid that she'll be convinced it's her fault. And she'll be scared to death that Daddy will be upset with her, and she'll run something Daddy wanted to make Daddy happy.
You know what?
And you'll never know,
Mom,
Jake.
stop right now. If Sophie can hear you, that's what she's getting that crap from you.
No, Sophie cannot hear me. And she's not getting it from me. And you're not blaming this one on me, Jacob. This one is all on you.
I'm not blaming anybody, Mom, but you're overreacting. She is 4 years old. It's what they want. She tells me she hates me, doesn't love me anymore, and she loves Uncle Joey. And a couple hours later, it's like she loves me. So she tells you she loves Beth more than you right
Gotcha.
now. It's not a big deal. It'll be the opposite whenever the next couple hours. We're having a breakdown over it. It's not a big deal.
Okay, Jacob. That's fine.
Here we go.
That's fine. Look, whatever. I gotta go.
Yes, you need to go back to church. That's what you need.
I don't.
Jacob.
I ain't knocking the
I
church,
have
but I'm
faith.
not exactly sure that's going to fix all
you
of
and
it.
George need to get your life together, and you need to realize what's important, because you're straying off the path.
What?
That's what you're doing.
No, straight off the path of what you think. Is that it?
This has got nothing to do with me, Jacob.
Oh,
Well,
Angela.
I'm doing what I think is right.
Okay, Jacob, let me ask you something. Do you think it's right to put Wolfine in the middle of something, huh? Or to ruin his life? I don't think that's right. Let me tell you something, Jake. I don't trust her around Wolfine. Why do you think I don't want him in that bedroom back there? I will never leave him alone with her, ever.
Well, Mom, I love you. I love you. Okay? I don't know what to tell you on that one. I don't know what to tell you on that one.
Let me tell you something, Jacob. You don't think it's odd that she said when she was telling me about what they did to her that up until a while back when she said, what was it? I forget how long she said it was. She didn't even realize it was wrong what her and her brothers was doing. Jacob.
What?
Did you not hear what I said?
I did hear you. But no,
you don't think there was anything wrong with that?
Okay, first off, Mom, they're inaccurate on your side. Until she was 13, she didn't know. And then, until she was 21, she thought her family loved her, and she realized they didn't.
Okay, let me tell you something, Jacob. And take it down to the sheriff's office, since it doesn't matter who knows where we are. Take to the sheriff's office and let her turn those people in. Let her file charges. I told her to do it. I asked her how come she didn't do it if it was so wrong and she couldn't stand them and stuff. And you know what she told me? She didn't have money for an attorney. Well, you know what? People who are sexually abused by family members and stuff don't need money, Jake. All they gotta do is walk down and turn them in.
That is true. And I've talked to her about it several times. And
Then what's the excuse?
well, it's two reasons. One, she'll have to go to court and testify and have to bring it all back up and all the whole situation's all back up.
Well, if you want to get on with her life, she needs to do it.
She's already got on for life. And two, she's afraid of her older brother.
Why?
Because they, you know, the thing about it, Mom, I know it's up. Yeah, she can take him to court, probably not. But if she can't prove it, then it gets thrown out.
Okay, Jacob, let me tell you
And that's
something,
what she's
okay?
afraid of, is if she can't prove it.
Let me tell you something, okay? If she doesn't do anything, she's accepting it. Just like Tabby and them.
No, Mom, that is not. That is.
Oh my God, you know what, Jacob, you know what, forget it, because it doesn't matter what I say to you, you are, never mind.
No, you don't understand something, guys. Tabby embraced it and just went with it and continued her life in the same way, never got out of the boat, brainwashed. Okay? There's a difference in not doing something about it because you think it's right, and not doing something about it because you decide to move on. And it's a possibility that if they don't get convicted, then she's afraid of what might happen afterwards. There's a big difference in that.
Look, I don't know what to tell you, and I just don't want to deal with it, okay? I don't. It's all right, just let it go.
And then there's a possibility, okay? Let's say, because her older brother is psycho anyway, let's say that he doesn't get convicted, guys. Not only would that put her in danger, that puts me and Sophie in danger, because she lives with us.
Oh, what do you care? You already put us in danger all this.
Oh, how did I put you in danger, Mom?
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that, Lady Warrior.
Please tell me, how did I do that?
Well, Jake, you done brought this in on us. Now we got to deal with it.
You have to deal with nothing.
Oh, I don't got to deal with nothing. Okay. Okay. That's all right. Look, just let it go, Jake. Forget it. It's all right. I'll take care of myself. Just forget it. Seriously, don't worry about it, Jake. Okay? I'll never ask you. I'll never say another thing. I'll never ask you nothing else. Okay?
Well, whatever, Mom. I don't know what.
No, I won't.
No, Mom, it's public. You just can't.
No, Lady Warrior, I didn't know that about Angela. I didn't.
Differently than you do. Okay?
No, Jake.
No, it is, because it's just the exact same way that these guys think that I must be lying if I think differently than a normal person.
No, Jacob. It's the fact of everything that you are the one who told me. You, Jake, you made 90% of our plans, okay? 90% of them. The things about Sophie and about Bullvine, you guys made those. I followed your decisions, Jake. Don't let on like I'm the bad guy. I did what you guys said. Hey, I've let you guys have the run of stuff for quite some time.
And
I've not said anything. Then you should have made some money, Jake.
I was making money.
See, this part to me is very telling, this conversation. Hey, Jen, how you doing, babe? This part is very interesting to me because on the one hand, we're hearing this conversation, right, between Angela and Jake. And Angela's tone is very accusatory, right? Like, why, you don't listen to me. You don't, I'll go back and listen to it, Lady Warrior. Thank you. I missed it. It's very accusatory, and Jake in this conversation is the one that's doing all of the explaining, right? But then you have her switching it up and saying, I've done everything that I've done is because it's what you and your brother wanted done. You guys made the decisions, you guys made the plans, and I just followed you. Right? Which is such a dichotomy to be having that's obviously what a dichotomy is, because these two things are occurring simultaneously. But what's even more interesting about it is that Jake doesn't stop her. He doesn't say, no, Mom, you're the one that bosses everybody around, which is interesting because that's what George has been claiming, is that, well, George said it, Tabby said it, Beth Ann said it, Chris Newcomb's wife said it, that Angela would, if she didn't get her way, she would work and work and work and work and work. And she used different tactics on different people. She's highly manipulative to get her way. But eventually Angela would get her way. It's just, I will say this. Something happened to Angela Wagner. That much is clear. And I think that she's hyper focused on SA, and I find it sad because all of the women in the boys' lives, Hannah, Tabby, Beth, all were victims of some form of SA as children, which is sad how much how many victims there are. You know what I mean? Especially of when it's a family member. It's really sad. I don't know.
Really? What were you going to do, Jake? What were you going to do? Oh, yeah, you will never see Sophie, Jake, and Sophie was miserable there. So was Bullvine.
Cement.
You know what? You don't care what I think or anything. Why don't you just go back? I ain't got the money to go back. No, I don't have the resources. You can come up with money. You can have your job back. I'm sure they'll give you your job back right away.
Yes, they would. They absolutely would. Yeah, no, you're right. One, I got to get there. And two, I don't know, maybe you didn't realize it's not, but whenever George Fred takes Bullvine, somebody busted down balling. I'm not going to do that to her.
Wait, you're going to take her away? You're going to take her away and stick her in a house?
Wow, I'm going to take her a couple 100 yards away. Wow.
You know, I don't know who you're going to have teach her. Who are you going to have teach her and stuff, Jake, whenever I'm not there to do it?
What are you talking about?
Please, God, don't tell me you're going to have Mrs. Philosopher who don't know crap teacher.
Okay, Mom, stop insulting. Look at my insult. You insult her every day.
I think he said insult, not install. Closed captioning.
Just forget it,
Hey,
Jake.
no, it's good. Granny gets that calendar and whether she is or not. I can tell her no, I'm going to buy it or she's going to buy it.
He really is.
Going to teach her.
What? Look, I'm going to go. Don't worry about it. Just forget it. Forget I said anything. I swore I wasn't going to say nothing to you.
That's just because she goes to the library so she can get good internet, so she can reply for that, so her phone doesn't crash because the internet's so slow. And the website thing isn't formatted for her phone, so she can use the computer instead. And I'm telling her to go to this place, this place, this place, this place to go to the job. You think it's the end of the world?
I don't think it's the end of the world, Jacob.
Nobody
I never
knows
said
what
that.
none of the people in Ohio, except for those people on topic, don't even know what she looks like.
Hey, I know. All I said, okay, Jacob. All I said was, look, I gotta go.
Which is why she homeschooled the boys, so that she could control what they learned.
I don't want to hear no more of everybody else has to hide or not do something.
I think you need to hide from Patty until June 7th. Yes, I do.
I hear those kids in the background, Angela, while you're having this conversation, ma'am.
Look, I gotta go, okay? I gotta go. Just forget it, Jake. I'll just go take some meds.
What?
Nothing, Jake. I gotta go.
Hold on, I'm coming.
I said I gotta go.
That's not what you said.
Look, I gotta go, Jake, okay? It's fine. I just gotta go.
Whatever, bye.
Okay, and so that conversation, was that actually the full conversation that they had during that call?
Yes.
And was that a continuation
I'm
of
pretty
the call that we had just heard previously that I believe got cut off?
Yes.
Okay.
See, I thought there was a call before this that we missed.
And again, this was during the time before BCI renewed.
See, this is why I don't like to skip. Because then I miss stuff. But you guys get the gist.
And you are not. Hey, shit.
All right, I'm not touching it anymore. Night, Kez Chick. Oh, yes, Corky, that would
We could
be.
go ahead and play quadruple I6A, please.
Can you imagine the level of denial in that cell? Nobody would ever do anything because nobody did anything. Night nonstop, Mom.
Your mom, your dad, and so you're straight to the side, and you miss the
See, now this fight is interesting to me because this is why it's interesting to me, because on the surface, it seems like two brothers arguing, right? But when you take into consideration the way that George has described his relationship with his mother, particularly when he testified, because let's be honest, that's the only time we've actually really heard him talk about the relationship he had with Angela, or what he says their relationship was like. So think back to that testimony, okay? And yet, in this fight between Jake and George, George is echoing in his own way, right, almost everything that Angela is saying. He's saying that George is saying that Beth cannot be trusted, that Jake is a POS because he is believing some woman ahead of his own daughter, that he's put Beth ahead of Sophie, that he ignores and doesn't spend time with Sophie like he used to because of Beth, which is exactly what Angela said, which is a polar opposite of the way that George characterized his relationship with Angela. And so what I think we should do is I think we should listen to this argument, okay? As I'm hitting about the 2-hour mark, and that's kind of like about how I like to leave it, only because now that I know I don't have to rush, I have all the way until next Monday, I kind of want to explore this a little bit more. So I think we'll listen to the rest of this, and then tomorrow night we're going to play this audio, the rest of these recordings, but intermixed with George's testimony, because much of his testimony was really centered around these wiretaps, because I think that I think that these got played too far apart. You know what I mean? Like when this happened and then George testified. Now, I'm not a juror, so I wasn't taking all the notes. Hopefully they took good notes, but I really hope that the jury does what we did, what we're doing, which is to listen to these wiretaps and also listen to George's testimony, but not back to back. You got to listen, you've got to mix it up. You got to listen to parts of the wiretaps and parts of George's testimony. And I think that's what we're going to do. All right, but we're going to finish this one.
Relationship. They're simply mine and yours. I don't trust mine. I know better. They're probably the hard I have things happen. You misunderstand. You misinterpretation. Switch that fuck around in your head. Wrong. Devil can't do that, George. He can't get you. He has a lot more power on this earth than what you give him credit for. Devil's not on it. He does not know what I'm going to do. He does know what you're doing. Doesn't? I don't know. He has no idea why I'm going to say that. It's true. It's not all nothing. It's not all places. But one thing is, games of deceit. You can't create. Okay, Dad. Right? Can't do any of that stuff you claim. You cannot create. You cannot be all places. That's not know everything. Okay, Dad. God don't see it all knowing, right? That's true. Why didn't he cast you to hell before he took any more places? He knew he was going to do it. Or his plan, George.
I just have to comment on that closed captioning. I don't think that Jake said anything about God being on Facebook.
These players You ask what happened to their mom, both of them, right there. You don't have to think, Lord, it's going to get you walking around and think, when it's going to get 3 days, and go around the exact same way again. Every freaking time. We're talking on time 200. And you're crazy. If you still want free will, they're going to get you. I don't care who you are. I love you. Today, going to teach your prayers answered. Acting like that.
Exactly. God is on Twitter. Everybody knows that. Jeez, George.
I didn't say any bad words. I didn't do anything wrong. I said all my prayers was how it's supposed to be. Not one prayer did I get in. Not one. What was your prayers, George? You ain't selfish prayers? Was it all about you? Was it all about you? Yes, it was. Heavy prayer. Yes, no, wait.
God is on Twitter. Jesus is on Facebook waiting for enough likes on a post to save the children. Duh. Uh-oh. It's back on.
I only took 50%. I took 50%. I got 80%. You used to be in 100. Until you married her and started putting all your trust in her and bringing her into the family and then after such a short period of time, and they keep never like you got out the power. Now, you got 10%. No, buddy. You know what? Hey, and I do trust you 100%. And that's my best luck son. You want to get? I do trust them 100%. 100%. Now, no. Do I grab something like that? Yeah. These guys pulled her off the street and arrested her, showed all the evidence they showed us, whatnot, that this, and that. I feel that she would say, oh, it must be true. Nope. I feel that she would tell them that's not true. Once they arrested her, get her to the emergency room and handcuffed, and then she's going to spend her life in an electric chair. Again, I feel that she would, A, tell them that it's not true. I know. She would get the electric chair. She's a great son. I believe she would say, take you down. I don't believe that one.
Okay, hold on. I want to pause this because it took me a minute to understand what they were saying here. This would be my third go around listening to this. I think what George is saying is if it came down to it and Beth Ann would rat Jake out. That is what Jake is saying, or George is saying. And Jake is like, no, she's, she wouldn't do that. But George is like, yes, she would. Yes, she would. Yes, she would. And see, I think what we missed in the, because when I played that phone call between Jake and Angela, there's part of that phone call I didn't play the beginning of it, and Beth Ann testified to this. Angela or George, one of them, found Beth Ann's journal that she had been writing in. And in that journal, and Beth Ann admits to saying this, she wrote something to the effect of, you know, it would be mean, but I could get Angela locked up. I could tell what Angela did and get her locked up for the rest of her life. Something to that effect. And yes, that's Lady Warrior. Yes, so that, and I know that there are pictures of the journal, and there are texts of the pictures. Yes, say that Angela was guilty, and there are pictures of the journal, and they were shared between Angela and George, I believe it was. They go over it in all of this. So George is, what's interesting to me is I'm not I have to, we'll have to keep going because I know I know they explain this later on, but it's just interesting to me how these recordings paint a very different picture of the way that George feels about his mother than what he said on that stand. All right, here we go.
Okay, so say we
Yes.
all went to the election, or this kind of message, would I want her to?
But I think this is just what I suspect based on the conversation that's taking place right now. I think that George and Angela were like, I think they were suspicious, and I don't think that I think that they recognized or felt that Beth Ann writing, but it wouldn't be true, was like a failsafe for her. Like, she's not admitting, any of that's, you know what I mean? Like, it's sort of a denial, or her way of saying if anybody were to read it, but it wouldn't be true. Sort of like she could explain it to the Wagners as, I was pissed and I wrote something when I was angry. Does that make sense? I think that's really what it was, but I don't think that George and, right. I don't think that George and, Angela were buying that at all. And yes, they did. They thought that Beth was a honeypot, which, whatever.
Absolutely. While I was in jail? No.
Oh, let me.
I don't trust she was able to be able to do the right thing with Sophie while I was in jail on her own. Not because I don't technically trust her, because she don't have the know-how. And she hasn't been a female enough to know exactly how I would want it done, so that she doesn't know how to do it.
Yes, and then George had the nerve to say that it was Billy who was the conspiracy theorist.
That's what I can describe that. I guess you could call that 50-50. If you would explain it's more like 100. Some aspects is 100, and some aspects is not. I always worry about myself. Right?
Okay, Momo.
No. I am the family explainer. You guys do all don't understand. And I basically understand the word coming out of my mouth. I did not understand. No, I heard you, but you understand what I was like. Put someone here with you. Understand that I will be alone in life. Don't you come out of me. I will be alone in a heartache. I will never put guilty to a fine for my son. When I come home after the week, mine and son get out before guilty here. Then mine and son will be because do something with him before I do something with him.
think what we're going to do, this is probably a good stopping point because we're coming up on the 2 hour, and I like to keep my lives like around 2 hours because it's easier for people to watch on replay when they're only a couple of hours long. But I will be back tomorrow night. And oh, that's it. I'm very sorry to the BCI agent that I paused you in this way, that you're very blurry. That was very rude of me. Let me stop sharing so you don't look like that anymore. Okay, there we go. This way, I really want to match up these conversations with George's testimony, because I think that, I don't know, I just think we need to do it that way. I think that's a good idea. It might be a terrible idea. We'll see how it goes tomorrow, but we'll definitely, I wanted us to listen to these 2018 wiretaps because so much of the state's cross-examination revolved around these. And let's be honest, when you really break it down about this case, there is not a lot of forensic evidence. Actually, there's no forensic evidence. There's no direct evidence linking George really to the crime scene. I mean, we can agree that there is a receipt for shoes and that the shoes came in the boys, they're not boys, George and Jake's sizes, right? That's the size shoe that they wore, and that Angela did buy them, and that the shoes have somehow just been thrown away. A perfectly good pair of shoes just thrown away because they were hideous. But it's very, I mean, it's they didn't really put those shoes. Yeah, but they didn't really put those shoes on George's feet. And the thing of it is that George doesn't, at first glance, it doesn't appear that George had a motive. Like, it wasn't his child, obviously. But I think that, and I don't think that the jury is going to be relying very heavily on what Jake or Angela testify to. I think the jury is going to be like taking their testimony with a grain of salt, because let's be honest, they have a reason to lie. They were offered plea deals. And if I were sitting on that jury and I heard the kind of deals that they got, I would be skeptical of their testimony as well, because they have a motivation to lie. They have a motive for lying. So that I think that if I were on the jury, what I would be listening to are the dichotomy between the George Wagner on the stand and George Wagner on those tapes. Angela's getting off way too easy. But I think that, I'm really curious, Lady Warrior, because Jake and Angela are the only ones that have talked. Good night, Team Psych Ward. Jake and Angela are the only two that have talked. Billy hasn't said anything. So we have no idea what his situation is and what his defense will be and what he will say. Especially because he has the benefit of of his son going first to be tried. So, I think I agree. I agree, Lady Warrior. I agree. But anyway, I'll save that for tomorrow night. But we definitely need to hear what's going on. Yeah, well, The only way that they can place Billy is the phone call where where Chris Sr. called Billy Wagner's phone. They do have that. That is pretty damning. And I also want to break down with George's testimony, his timeline of the evening of the 15th into the 16th. All right. And I'll just keep going because I have so many questions. So no, it's not. We'll get into it tomorrow for sure. All right. Now that I know that I don't have to like hurry up and speed through this trial because there's going to be court tomorrow and I don't want to miss it. We can take our time and go through this the way it should be. All right. So that's what we'll do. And I want to thank everybody for being here. If you haven't done so already, give your girl a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you just want to see what it does. Either way, it helps. Oh no, you're fine, Lady Warrior. No, you're making really good points and you know a lot about this case. And so it's hard for one person to keep it all together in her brain, especially this one person, because I got like 37 other cases on my brain at the same time, plus song lyrics and movie. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing it out. So we're going to pick up where we left off tomorrow. I'm going to see you at 8:30 and that's what we'll do. All right. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday and I'll see you tomorrow night. All right. Bye. Cement shoes. Well, thank you for taking it back. Yes, I do. I have a whole week. All right. Bye, you guys.